Good evening, my loves. Good evening, good evening, good evening to you. It is December the 5th, and let me see, it's 6:13 in the evening, and I've been having phone issues apparently for the first time ever since I've had an electronic device. I got viruses on my phone. I don't know what that's about, but okay. All in all, spiritually savage here. I'm sorry, guys. I never really remember to introduce myself because I feel like you guys know me already. Even if you haven't watched near video and this is your very first video watching me, you already know me. Energetically, you know me. So, spiritually savage here. Welcome, welcome. If you have not done so, subscribe and hit the like button. Um, and I'm just giving you guys an update. I didn't want to do so, but apparently I'm hard headed, and so God and my ancestors took it upon themselves to, I don't know, maybe it was them, maybe it's the devil, I don't know, negative energy, but I am having electronic issues, y'all. Like, ain't nobody's business. Like, I'm not supposed to be talking, but I don't know why. But anywho, this is just an update about how I've been doing. And for the past few days, I haven't felt like doing much of anything. I've been studying still because I'm learning so much, and that's a joy of mine. So not too much can stop that. And I've still been cooking, of course, but I hadn't felt like doing a video. I hadn't felt inspired, and that's been a long time since I've not felt inspired. And I recognized and understood that it was because I was going through a shift, okay? Of course, this is the day after the new moon and the eclipse that has happened. And so those bring on energies of their own, not to mention the already planetary alignments that's going on with Mars, Uranus, and Saturn, and even Chiron, actually. Or do they say it Chiron? I don't know. But I've been studying a lot, can't you tell? And I'm understanding a whole lot more about myself. And so now it's easier for me to allow space in between me and things, people, and places, right? But they've been difficult. They've been difficult. So I will share something very personal with you. I just got finished writing it in my journal. And I had no intentions on coming up here and sharing this with you. I just wanted to tell you guys about the planetary alignment. So that, ooh, the fact that I said that, um, it's an inspiration, so I am guided to do so, because really that was not my intentions at all. And normally when I do, I say this is a journal entry or anything like that. If you look at some of my past videos, um, but last night I was struggling. I was struggling so bad, and I recognized that it was my 5-year-old self that was struggling, that it was my 13-year-old self that was struggling, my 15-year-old self, my 16-year-old self, my 18-year-old self, my 25-year-old self, my 29, and all the other ages where I can landmark something traumatic happening to me, which is crazy, right? That I can even go off the top of the dome and know those things, and can tell you exactly why those points, dates, ages in time were significant to me. But I was struggling last night, you guys. My loves, your girl, your sis, your auntie was struggling last night. And all kinds of abandonment issues was coming up, which, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that that was a journey of mine that I no longer struggle with. So the fact that it came up last night was like, okay, we know we're not abandoned. We know why things happen. And it is all divine planning, and we signed up for this. And you go through the multitude of things in your head that you've learned along your way in your journey. If you haven't made it thus far, then let this be a light for you, okay? Let this be a light. Because if you look at any of my other 100 or so videos, listen, I was where you once were, or where you once are now, currently. Some of you may be where I am. So you remember back when you was a hot mess, you was crying, your heart was broken. I was literally in a fetal position for 2 weeks, and I didn't eat a lick. I didn't eat or drink a lick. So much to the point to the lady's house that I was staying at called my friend at the time because she was concerned about my well-being. So I know from whence you came, and I know where you are, okay? I do. And this is all a part of the process. And it is kind of hard to accept. It is a very, 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 very hard pill to swallow that God, that your ancestors are allowing these types of things to happen to you, whether you've been molested, whether or not you've been in the sex trade, whether or not you've been sacrificed for your health, because that is a sacrifice. Understand, someone is sacrificing you. If you are trying to do any and everything to come up out of your current circumstance, and it seems like as soon as you take a step forward, you take 2 steps back, that is the devil fighting you. You have an opponent, my love, because God does not want our lives to be difficult. Our ancestors didn't send us down here to this beautiful place, this gorgeous place with all of its natural abundance, to suffer. So you should ask yourself, why are you suffering? It's not because you're a bad person. Now, there's always a caveat to what I say, and sometimes I never say anything because I figure people enter over and understand that, but I'm going to say this now. There's a caveat to that, because if you're watching my channel and you have had ill intent your whole life, meaning you've been manipulative, you've been unfaithful, like all kinds of stuff. If that has been the life that you have led, then this is not your channel. I promise you it's not. You're going to get mad and you're going to want to point the finger. But I am only saying things that I myself have not done. So if anybody is watching this channel, that means because they resonate with me on some level. Okay? And that is no judgment. That is no judgment, because I've done things too. I really have. But there are certain things that I never crossed. And it's in my DNA. It's in my makeup. It makes up the foundation of who I am. So even though I went astray from my path, yes, we all have. We all have. But there were certain things that I did not cross. There were certain things that were of high value to me that I did not compromise on. Did I compromise? Yes, I did. If I had compromised, I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I'm learning now, which is, in essence, to love myself unconditionally and not look for it outside of me, because that's what I've done my whole entire life, unknowingly. And for the people that know me, that watch this video, it's gonna feel like I'm lying, but I'm not, because I did not know that I did not love myself enough to walk away from people, places, and things that no longer serve me, that did not bring me joy, that did not support me. Because it's not so much as they didn't bring me joy, because that's not what it's all about. We are here to serve each other. But I was around people that I served but did not serve me in return. So in essence, I was pouring into them and I was dying of thirst because I was not getting poured into back. To put it in terminology for people who are religious that watch my channel, who are on their spiritual enlightenment journey. They should have been one and the same growing up, but because of the times, and I'm not talking about our times because this was all in place before we got here, but it is up to us to change the dynamic. of spirituality and religion. They're not separate. They're not separate. You practice spirituality in your everyday life, whether you are aware of it or not. And that is part of the journey that I've discovered as well. But in my journal, to bring it back to why I went down that path, so somebody needed to hear what I had to say. I was struggling because all those pieces of me was clamoring for something. And normally I characterize it as I need a hug. And I recognized that last night too. That was a revelation for me as well, that when I say I need a hug, it's because something is pulling at me on the inside. But last night I had nothing but time, and I was sober to go inside. Was I sober? I don't know. Listen, that's why I said there's no judgment here, because I still struggle too, y'all. I do. And I know this is judgment against myself because of what I used to say growing up, which is why this is a lesson for me in itself. So I'm going to ride this wave, and whatever feelings, thoughts, and emotions come up, I'm going to dissect them, characterize them, and deal with them as they are, with no judgment. Each day I have to wake up, y'all, and not judge myself. And I do. It is a very hard thing to do when you've been trained to do so. But that's part of them keeping us divided, okay? That's a whole nother story, a whole nother ballgame. But I was struggling because what I wanted was a hug last night. And my family isn't one of a touchy-feely type family. I am. And I recognize that I have been imposing my will on them all this time. So if they initiate, then I initiate. Unless they're guests coming in, that's different. And so last night I was struggling. I let the tears flow. And I'm closing my eyes and I see all of me. And I mean each piece of me just like running around. We all have this meeting place. We do. I'm just being honest with you. This is how I visualize, okay? And this is a common meeting place. No, I will not describe it. But everybody's running around. There's one figure that is not running around, and that is the Spirit. But the Spirit is allowing me to gather myself, okay? And when I speak about the Spirit, I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. I am speaking about the divine Spirit. Whatever you wanted to characterize, it's the spirit of light. It is the spirit of love. I've heard a guru say that, how do we know that God is love? It had me thinking, well, why would God not be love? Why would God not be love? And so I'm trying to think outside the box on why a guru would say that. And, I look at gurus as if, especially when they're elders, that they are more enlightened at such, because for one, they have wisdom because they've dwelled on this planet long further than I have. Okay? So there's always respect, but he didn't go into explanation as to why he said that. He just said, why do you think God is love? And so I'm like, because, and I had all these reasons on why God is love. And then all those other people that I heard say, well, if God is love and well, why does bad things happen to good people and blah, 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 blah. And knowing what I know now, I still say God is love. I really do. I can't deviate from that because that has been my driving force my entire life, has been love. Love. Before it was seeking it outside myself, but as a child, that's what you do. And as parents, they're supposed to nurture you and guide you and teach you how to do that yourself. But when you have not had that basic foundation training through the trauma in your life at the very beginning, and 9 times out of 10, if you're watching this channel, you have suffered some sort of deep-rooted trauma in your life that you are now trying to heal. And you have to heal it in order to get to the next level, in order to get to ascension, in order to get to your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. That trauma is going to need to be healed. And I can only say that because this is the journey that I'm on. And I am at peace right now, though. I am at peace. Yeah, last night was tough, but those moments are going to come because we are healing. So whatever comes up has to come out. And yes, I dealt with it all before. I have. To me, this was like what that course when you come to the end of your college years and it's the capstone class. Y'all remember that class? It's a capstone class where you got to put all that you've learned to see if you can self-soothe yourself. And so I had to define, what does a hug mean to me that I have to provide it for myself if I can't get it outward, right? Because there may be times in our lives where we are physically alone, meaning there's not another avatar, another presence, another solid body around us. And I don't mean just a human form, I mean animal forms too, because animals are emotional support systems. They are. But you will have to be able to do it for yourself without that particular crutch. And I say crutch because it is. When you've injured your leg or something like that, you have to have a crutch to help stabilize you, right? So you don't fall, so you don't wobble, right? Same thing when it comes to spirituality and emotions. You have to be able to do it for yourself. Yes, it's awesome. It is so great. It is a beautiful thing, my loves, when you can turn and someone there can give you what you need. That is beautiful. That is divine, especially when it is reciprocated and it's a give and take and it's beautiful and they recognize your insecurities and your vulnerabilities and they never use it against you and they are loyal to you. That is what love is. The notion of love has been romanticized, but when you get down to what love actually looks like and what it feels like loyalty. It feels like acceptance of all parts of who you are. Okay? But I felt it last night. And all of me was running around. Lord, it was, they was running. The 5-year-old was running around. Y'all know how 5-year-olds run. And y'all know how 13-year-olds be acting. Oh my gosh. Annoying? Yes. Talking too much? Yes. And 13-year-old me was angry. And she was fighting and beating folks up. So you got the 5-year-old probably running around hopped up on sugar. Then you got the 13-year-old just angry and ready to fight, probably already fighting and wanting to fight all the other ones. Then you got the 15-year-old who hormones is kicking in, and then you got the 16-year-old who heart was broken. You know, it's like it was a lot going on last night, y'all. Whew. It was a lot just even thinking about it, and I didn't even give y'all the other ones. Oh, can you imagine the chaos that was ensuing inside my head? It was chaos. It was. But I had to calm them down. Spirit calmed them down. Because I had to go inward. And I had to ask myself, what do you define as a hug that it cannot be given to you? What can you do for yourself? And I drifted off to sleep, content. I'm sure I dreamed, but I was undisturbed. I didn't even have to wake up to pee, y'all. It was a peaceful, restful sleep. So I say all that to say, it's been a very difficult day. Yeah, but today was a good day, though. I drifted off to sleep by 3 this morning. But it's therapeutic because each time something is revealed to me, then I'm like, yo, I healed this. And I healed it last night. I mean, I feel like I just like kicked it out the, gave it the whole boot, you know, last night. I'm going to be emotional. And I don't think I ever want my emotions to stop. I don't. I do want to be in control of my emotions. Absolutely. But when I feel that, I'm going to let whatever comes up come. I once heard a tarot reader was like, stop crying, dang. I don't think I shall. I think I know when and where I can cry and to whom I can cry to. But crying is very therapeutic. And if you haven't, and if you have been stifled and stuffed up, I suggest you let out a few tears. I do. Go in the shower. Turn on the music. If you're embarrassed or you don't feel ashamed or you feel guilty, whatever emotion is coming up that is stifling you, that is stopping you from allowing those emotions to fall, might I suggest you go put on a sad song, watch a sad movie, and just let them fall. It's okay. I used to be that person. That's why I let them fall now. And even when that ego side of me wants to stifle me, I allow them to come because I remember that that's programming from when I was a kid and was told not to grieve and was told not to feel and was told not to talk and was told not to want and was told not to need. Yeah, okay? That's what trauma does to you. It makes you stifle your feelings, stifle your emotions, stifle who you are. And here we are, grown people, and some of you may be kids watching this, and kudos to you for taking the steps now to get to who you are. I love you guys. My time is about to end, so I'm going to have to end it. Namaste, Ashe, Mazel Tov.